welcome to CNN News. I'm Mackenzie, and today we'll be talking about the impact that violent video games have on young people. In today's day of age, we always associate ourselves with video games more than ever, and that has given others concern about the impact they may have on our children and how it could spread violence, hate speech, and spread their worst behavior onto others. Are violent video games contributing to this aggression and harmful behavior, or are they actually promoting something better? The first bit of study we'll be talking about is conducted by Moreno Lopez and Arguero Gutierrez. In their research, they describe how violent video games are the reason for violence, hate speech, and discrimination among young people. In the article, they talk about how cyberbullying is actually made from online video games, specifically multiplayer games, and how its harassment has influenced others to spread more. They also highlight that it's not just entertainment, because most games are interactive. They give players the decision to make their own personal mistakes and own personal options, ones that you'll normally would not see in real life, but this could also influence their thoughts, attitudes, and behavior the more they delve into violent video games. The way they investigated these research topics is by analyzing other research topics similar to their own findings, and just to have a broader understanding of it. They analyzed every aspect from peer-reviewed journals to just news articles to find out what is the main cause of violent video games. Throughout this time, they would use major databases from schools, colleges, even from libraries, just to not be biased about anything they are researching or anything they're trying to analyze. They go through strict guidelines and only go through quality, not quantity when it comes to it. But that also says the same. They don't just look at one article, they look at all of the articles, and they include all of it in their analyzation about it. In the results of these studies and analyzing of video games, there's more of a complex relationship that video games have with people. As on one hand, they could show violence and harassment against their own community, and on the other hand, they could show positive views on how you can learn decision making, you can learn empathy, and you can just spread greatness. In the discussion, the author does mention that video games are not really good or bad, that there's multiple factors to include other than just video games themselves, as it could be the person themselves, their environment, their understanding of society, or just what kind of game they got. But it also could work for different individuals too, as it could improve their aggression, make them more hateful, or it could be positive, show them more empathy, give them a better understanding of different people's perspective. But in all, it really does depend that video games are powerful tools used in the day-to-day life that we really underestimate. To provide a different point of view, we will be looking at Ferguson and his colleagues and how their belief that violent video games is connected to aggressions in people nowadays. But instead of just directly stating it, he would like to see that is there truly an understanding between violent video games and aggression, and that could it be more weaker than we actually believed? The method they use to study this, they analyze research from different studies, from different colleges, from different high schools, even their own neighbors, and they want to determine that if there's any pattern that exists from their social environments to their empathy, to their understanding of anything, they would like to go more in depth than ever. The results from these studies show that violent video games and real-world aggression is small and inconsistent compared to the broader scale of it all. As the common pattern they found is that there's other factors to look into than just the video game itself, as it could be the personality, the empathy, the environment, their family. It could be anything in that sort, and even mental health plays a role in influencing their behavior. But in his discussion, Ferguson and his colleagues argue that video games have been overestimated in today's day of society, and that they want to emphasize that others should look at the individual instead of the actual video game, as they are not the primary cause of violence. But instead, we should look at psychological levels and broader social scales, that it could be more of an impact than violent video games could ever have. So, in all, what can we take from these two arguments? On one hand, the first one mentions how video games will cause for aggression, cause for hatred, harassment, and even in their own community. But it could also show a little bit of empathy and goodness into it, more learning and understanding of one's personality. But on the second article, it wants to prove a link between video games and aggression, but in the end found that there's more factors to it than it could actually come. How their family environment, how their own understanding of the world can influence, and how it can make it look like video games are the main cause for it. But in all, video games are just powerful influence in modern day society. Though they could influence one individual, it cannot be the main cause of it all. But the more we look into it, the more research there is, and that has to come to this, as it's forever ongoing. And onto the field report. To get a better understanding of our topic of today, we've decided to do research interviews and see how many individuals in our own community would react or talk about video games and how they might impact people nowadays. So I'll be reporting to reporter Salva, and he'll be conducting.
All right, so now we are at Torino, and we have Sharik Mejia here. And all right, so do you think video games affect behavior?
Yes, because depends. If you're too young, they can affect you because you learn everything that you see or play, and when you're older, it
does influence.
Yeah,
as
it
much,
doesn't
yeah.
influence you. Yeah.
That's right. Have you ever experienced toxic behaviors while playing or seeing somebody play?
Yes. For example, my brother, every time that he used to get killed on a game, he used to get mad and frustrated.
He used to rage. And,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
All
And
right.
break
some
things
things,
and everything. Yeah.
Throw the controller or something.
Yes.
Do you think these video games that kids are playing can be used for educational purposes or positive reasons?
Yes, depends on the game. If it's violent, you're not gonna learn anything from it, only like anger, but you can learn through Minecraft, that you can learn construction or cooking games.
You can learn skills.
Yeah, skills with that, yeah.
And last one, what do you think could reduce negativity in video games?
Making more productive games, like you can learn skills, like he said before, like Minecraft, construction, math, everything like that.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Very much. We are now at Del Rio. This is Salvador Campos here with Jonathan Flores. And all right, Jonathan, do you think violent video games influence behavior?
I think depending on how young the kid is, I think it can, if they get a false reality of what everything's like.
Yeah.
But I think for an older person, they've already seen what's like, and they can separate real life from video games.
Exactly. It really depends a lot on age or
And maturity level.
what they let you do or not.
Maturity level too. Depends on the kid and the parents.
And have you ever experienced like violence when you were playing online video games?
Violence?
Yeah.
Physical violence or like
Like speech or just negative things you can hear throughout the headset or
yeah, there's some people that'll go crazy. They take it real personally. But
yeah.
Yeah.
What if video games can be used as a positive influence? Do you think that's possible?
I think it's possible too.
Why?
I think there's a lot of video games that I think that don't have anything to do with violence, but I think if like some people use it to get their head off of something, like to distract them. There's also video games that you get rewarded for helping good people, or like being good, helping good people. You can do good, like Spider-Man video games, Batman.
Yeah.
You're solving crime, you're beating crime. That can inspire you to help people out in real life.
Yeah. And do you think it can be educational?
I think it can also be educational.
Yeah.
Like Batman, like I was saying, I'm gonna give an example. Batman Arkham Asylum.
Okay.
There's a video game where you're stuck in a building or asylum, you're with crazy people, but you have to find a way to escape.
Yeah.
And there's a bad guy named the Riddler that he leaves clues, and you have to find the clues.
So you have to
use,
think.
Yeah, exactly. You have to use critical thinking. You have to see, okay, I did this, now I have to find this. Now I have to find this part, but I did this, so now this happens.
Yeah. All right. So now for the final part, what do you think could reduce negativity in online video or video games?
In general, like
Yeah, in
even
general.
bad video games.
Yeah.
Maybe you gotta go. I think just like the reward system, maybe. Like they.
Yeah.
I mean, in Call of Duty games, you're gonna have to do some stuff regardless. But like at the same time, helping out your team.
Yeah.
I don't know,
It's,
stuff like
it's
that.
like whatever the game teaches you
Yeah.
to be correct.
I think whatever you're rewarded on in the game, I feel like it's mostly.
All right. Thank you so much,
course.
Jonathan.
Thank you.
And finally, we are here at EOS Fitness with Daniel Negron. And so, do you think video games influence behaviors on kids?
Yeah.
Why?
I think it does because they see violent things on the video games and then they want to do it in real life.
Right. So, do you think, have you ever experienced some toxic speech or something in the video games?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And did it affect you?
Not me personally, no.
All right. Do you think video games could be used as a positive way, like education or stuff like that?
Yeah, I think so if they're built the right way.
Yeah, like teach you skills.
Yeah.
All right. And finally, what do you think should be done to reduce the negativity in this type of activities?
They can make like age restrictions on certain violent games and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's good. All right, thank you very much.
I got you.
While opinions may vary on the topic of violent video games, we can never be truly sure, as some of the interviewers say video games are bad or they have a negative effect on them, and others will say how positive it could be, how it can be educational and help learning. But in all, it can either just be good or bad, a tool for violence or a tool to connect. As we've seen on today's topic about video games, it is more than just entertainment. We tend to underestimate or even overestimate video games and their impact we may have on, as both articles gave great examples and biases of their own opinion about how video games could be either good or bad in a modern day influence, how they could influence behavior, attitude, or even interactions in our own community. Whether they could be harmful or helpful, it's up to the player themselves, but in all, that's today's report. Thank you for watching, and this is CNN News. This is Group 3, and it's been my pleasure.